Welcome to Neo Royal, House of Pricey Cardboard. On today's episode of Commentary Gameplay, we have our first competitive match on the channel. I'm playing today with the guys from OnStack MTG, a cEDH YouTube channel from Quebec. I know most of you here don't speak French, but if you do, make sure to give them a look. I will leave a link to their channel in the description. Once you're there, you'll be able to find 2 more games with us from that day. The deck description today would be a bit different, as cEDH decks tend to run a lot of similar cards. So for all 4 decks, you can assume a lot of cheap mana racks and cheap interaction. For my list, as this is my first experience in cEDH, I use the database to find a Yuriko deck list. This is not the ad nauseam version, as I am running big CMCs to help Yuriko tank life totals. While my CMCs might be high, a good portion of them have alternative costs that let me play them for free. So my game plan is to trigger Yuriko, gain card advantage while losing life to my opponents, and trying to assemble the Thassa's Oracle win con. I run a couple of stacks piece to slow my opponents as well. Vincent will be playing his version of Thrasios and VialSmasher. His 4-color list is looking to use blue and green for interaction, while assembling his win cons that are mostly black and red. We have the WUBRG combo, the Underworld Breach line, Big Demon Reanimation, and Thassa's Oracle. Overall, a lot of things to check for his opponents. Simon will be playing Breya, Ethereum Shaper. This is the only ad nauseam deck tonight, so he is looking to cast ad nauseam, draw most of his deck, and assemble the combo from there. Being artifact based, this deck is also the one running the most ramps, Breya being an outlet for infinite mana. We have Auriok Salvager as a combo piece, the Underworld Breach line, and of course the Thassa's Oracle line. Last but not least, Maxim will be playing Kenrith the Returned King. This 5-color deck has a couple of game plans. He runs a Flicker and Evolution package with Dockside Extortionist to create infinite mana, as Kenrith is an outlet to win the game afterward. He also runs the Underworld Breach line and Thassa's Oracle line as backups. I did not ask them to note their starting hand, but I do have mine. My opening hand contains Muslim Wanderer, Fairy Seer, Gilded Drake, Flusterstorm, Mental Misstep, Polluted Delta, and a Drowned Catacombs. Vincent gets to start this off. And land drops Breeding Pool untapped. He then casts Carpet of Flower. I land drop Polluted Delta, cracking it for an Underground Sea. I then cast Muslim Wanderer and pass. Simon land drops Tarnished Citadel and casts Chrome Mox. He imprints Rolling Earthquake. He then casts Mana Vault. In reaction, Max casts Mental Misstep, paying 2 life. The spell is countered and Simon pass. Max then drops Scalding Tarn, cracking it for Tropical Island. He then casts Elves of Deep Shadow. Vincent gets his Carpet of Flower trigger at the first main phase, floating a blue. He then drops Scalding Tarn and casts his first commander, Thrasios, Triton Hero.
Mists are carefree. They drift where they will, unencumbered by rocks and riverbeds alike.
I then drop Drowned Catacomb and cast Gilded Drake. Entering the battlefield, I exchange his control for Thrasios. Going to combat, I send a Muslim to Simon. Simon then drops Verdant Catacombs. He casts Preordain, taking 3 from the Citadel. After that, he cracks his Verdant Catacombs, and in reaction, Vincent cracks his fetch land as well. They both get an Underground Sea. Simon then passes. Maxim draws 4 turns and passes with no land to play. Vincent gets a red through the Carpet of Flower. He land drops Volcanic Island and casts his second commander, VialSmasher the Fierce.
Watch out, watch out!
He goes to combat, sending the Gilded Drake to me. I then drop Sunken Ruins and head into combat. I send the Wanderer to Max. As he declares no block, I ninjutsu my commander, Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow.
They're already here.
Max then takes 1. Yuriko triggers on damage and I reveal Commandeer, losing 7 life to my opponents. In second main, I recast the Muslim Wanderer and pass. Simon then drops Command Tower. He then casts his commander, Breya, Ethereum Shaper. Entering the battlefield, he gets 2 top tier tokens. Max draws for turn and sadly passes. Vincent gets a black through the carpet of flower, and then drops a bayou.
Oh là là de là là de là là.
Tu t'ennuies-tu de ton triton?
Oui.
With not much else to do, he attacks me with the Gilded Drake and pass. On my turn, I cast Fairy Seer. Entering the battlefield, I scry 2, bottoming both. For my combat step, I send Yuriko and the Wanderer to max. No blocks are declared and a ninjutsu Skull Snatcher on my spirit. Maxim then takes 3. Both creatures trigger on damage. I exile both cards in Max's graveyard, and I reveal Gravedigger's Cage and Wingcrafter, losing 2 to my opponents. In second main, I cast Gravedigger's Cage. Vincent casts Fierce Guardianship to counter my card. VialSmasher triggers on cast and I take 3.
Ça va pas bien, les gars, ça va pas bien.
Ah, pas moi.
Simon casts Dark Confident and pass. Max draws and once again pass. Vincent gets a black through the carpet of flower. He then drops Gemstone Cavern. He then casts Diabolic Intent, sacrificing the Drake. Simon kindly reminds Vincent of his VialSmasher trigger. He rolls and VialSmasher deals 2 to Simon.
Non, c'est vrai. VialSmasher trigger. Même chose que tantôt. Simon, tu vas te prendre 2.
Je vais te faire Vial, hein?
Karma.
Vincent then casts Faithless Looting. I react with Mental Misstep, paying 2 life. I know that this deck is looking to play with his graveyard as he countered my Gravedigger's Cage, so I'm going off that logic. He thinks a bit and let the spells get countered. He then pass. I recast Mausoleum Wanderer on my turn, and follow it up with Wingcrafter. Entering the battlefield, I soulbound with my commander, granting flying to both of them. I head into combat, sending Fairy Seer and Yuriko to Vincent, while Skull Snatcher attacks Maxim. I get 2 Yuriko triggers and reveal Cursed Totem and Underground River, losing 2 life to my opponents. In second main, I land up Underground River and pass. At Simon's upkeep, Dark Confident triggers and revealing a Yawgmoth's Will. Simon then casts Brainstorm, and follow it up with Mana Crypt, before playing Forbidden Orchard as his land for turn. Satisfied, he pass. Maxim casts Mox Diamond, discarding a bad land. He floats a black through the elf before casting Neoform, sacrificing the elf as an additional cost. Vincent reacts by casting Mana Drain, not too kind on the idea of a Dockside Extortionist on the table. Vincent adds 2 colorless through the Mana Drain and a red through the Carpet of Flower. He flashbacks Faithless Looting. VialSmasher triggers for 1 to Simon. He draws 2 and discards Vilis, Broker of Blood, and Careful Study. He then casts Reanimate, targeting Vilis. As the life loss would happen after the creature is put into play, this would cause Vincent to draw 8 cards upon resolution. In reaction, I exile Temporal Trespass and Flusterstorm from my hand to cast Commandeer on the Reanimate. Vincent has a reaction as well, exiling Winds of Rebuke to cast a Misdirection for free. Reacting to all of this, I cast a Tainted Pact. I'm pretty invested already on this counter war, and I might as well try and stop it. The thing is, I don't have any more blue cards in my hand for a Force of Will, and I do not have 5 mana on my next turn for a Pact of Negation. What this means is that in all of my deck, I need to find Fierce Guardianship. Easy, right?
J'avais plus de deck ici. On va commit. Écoute, on a pris la décision.
André est trop tard pour reculer.
My god! Il est bien creux!
Il l'a pas mis dans le deck.
J'aurais dû counter le. Ça serait drôle hein, qu'il soit pas dans le deck, j'exilerais juste mon deck comme un tata.
Le pire, c'est que je suis sûr que c'est mon réponse.
C'est sûr.
Bon!
Le tour de tête, c'est bon.
Alright, fait que je vais arrêter sur Fierce Guardianship.
Ça, c'est combien de cartes dans le deck environ?
Pas beaucoup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, quand même. Puis je vais caster un Fierce Guardianship.
I now have 7 cards left in my library, and I exile Thassa's Oracle in the process, so things are looking pretty grim. I do, however, get to reanimate something. I target the Gilded Drake in my graveyard. Entering the battlefield, I target Breya to exchange control. Reacting to the target, Simon sacrificed 2 Thopters to Breya to give my Drake -4/-4 until the end of turn. As the Drake is no longer on the table, the exchange fizzles. We are still in Vincent's turn and he passes. I'll then drop a Clearwater pathway. Going to combat, I send Yuriko, the Fairy Seer, the Windcrafter and Wanderer to Simon, while Thrasios and Skullsnatcher attack Maxim. On damage, I exile the 2 non-land cards in Max's graveyard, and I get 2 Yuriko triggers, revealing a Swamp and Arcane Adaptation. In second main, I cast Cursed Totem. I then cast Arcane Adaptation, naming Ninja. Before we leave my turn, Simon casts Limdul's Vault. He pays 4 life to change the pile and settles on the 5th one. We then go to his turn, Dark Confidant and Mana Crypt trigger. He reveals a volcanic island and succeeds his roll. He then casts Demonic Tutor. Once he's done, he casts Thassa's Oracle. With the effect on the stack, he casts Demonic Consultation, naming Mana Vault, which is already in his graveyard. Nobody has an answer, and we get our first Thassa's Oracle win on the channel. Well played! Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you for all the players from OnStack MTG for welcoming me into the cEDH world. You can see 2 more games we played together on their channel. The link will be in the description. Take care my friend, and we'll see you very soon.
Once, I was a deer, and now I'm back to being the king of Eldraine, baby!